This is a picture in the Judgment Release Secret of Superheroes book. And this is, in the first part, giving us short context on Judgment Release, the value of it, and more. And this is essentially showing us the process that we're doing. We're doing 1 to 2 minute exercises in the back portion of the book with some various judgments that can be impacting us on all levels, at all potential stages of life, etc. And that going through this process is like cleaning the dirty window. And that earlier in the book, a few pages earlier, I show a picture of the dirty window. It's kind of like the perspective that might be quite cluttered when we take in or create a whole bunch of judgments in life. So we might say, we might hear ourselves say judgments like, oh, nothing will ever change, or this is the way this person has always been, they'll never change. And this lacks accuracy because there's always the potential for change, and it's not actually identifying the variables that are involved in or necessary for change, but it is our sort of attempt or creation, or maybe we heard it somewhere else, that holds and blocks us in a certain way. Now, we have so many of these, and when you start this process, you'll start to notice it, and it'll become quite exciting because now you've noticed it and you're doing the right thing to release them. But this is the process, this picture here. On the left, we have the quote-unquote dirty window. And it's kind of blocked up. If you have a dirty window that has a lot of dust and grime and soot and all sorts of stuff, that it blocks it up for a while, right? Now, we may have gotten used to that, and you can see there's still some light that can potentially come in from the left quote-unquote dirty window, and we can get used to it, our eyes adjust, etc. But it is not a full experience. It blocks what we can see from the outside, and it blocks from what we put out to the outside, what we share with others. So in the right picture, the right side, it says at the top, starting to clean the window. And you can see there's in the center, a little bit of a clean window, and these are like rays of small light coming in. And the little comment that I wrote there is, even a small amount of light coming in can make a noticeable difference. So if you've ever been in that situation of a really dark room, maybe like the blinds are really close and all that, and you slightly open it, boom, already it's quite noticeable. Now, it may not be enough to say like this is a huge drastic change, so you got to add a little bit more light, more light, more light. And that is not from funneling in more light from the sun. Like, we're not taking buckets of light from outside and bringing it inside. We are opening and opening and opening our window, our filters, our ability to accept or receive that in. So this starting to clean the window already has a little bit of notice, a little bit of a result. And as such, often when people do the first one, or I usually say do 2 or 3, somebody might notice that, okay, I feel slightly lighter, like a little bit of a weight off my shoulders has cleared, or I feel a lot more relaxed than I did, a little bit less tension in the neck or the forehead or the temples. And this is good just to notice. I'm not saying like, you need to write this down and frame it the very first time, but this is giving you yourself some sort of feedback that, hey, something is potentially taking place. And then doing more of it. Because when it gets to that point where you know something is taking place, whether that is the first 2 or 3 times or maybe 10 times, whatever. But when you know, you don't need to believe anymore. You don't need to hope for that, because you know you can go back to this resource, this process, judgment release process, and feel something, or feel something quite often of the time, or know that it is doing some sort of positive beneficial effect, and that you are excited to see the results of that. So that's why there's many different results for many different people. Sometimes it's a certain epiphany or a solution. I often say increase resourcefulness. So sometimes it is a solution to a problem that people have been experiencing for many weeks or months, and there's an epiphany. Oh, I could have this as a solution. That's great. Sometimes it is a new perspective or some resolution from a past event or a past difficult scenario or something like that. Other times it is more resourcefulness. Sometimes people have like, we might call it internal vision, or like a little, you could also call it an epiphany, and many other things. Sometimes, and I think this is the basis, this is good enough even without those other extra bonuses, is that we can find new alternatives that we understand and we recognize are more resourceful than that previous judgment. So if I just look at a random judgment and I say, the judgment might be, I can't get any more honest with myself. Consciously, I might recognize that right away. And I say, yeah, okay, that I might believe that. But still going through that process and acting and treating it like a judgment because it's saying I can't get any more honest. It doesn't acknowledge what we don't know. It doesn't acknowledge what we can't perceive or what we can't see yet. So I still allow myself to go through that judgment release process and release the judgment to potentially see what more I can find, what new epiphanies come, solutions. And what might come, for that particular example, is that I might have a certain idea come to mind about a certain area of life where I can get even more honest with how I feel or how I think or what I want or an ideal circumstance. Even though my life may seem ideal in that aspect, there might be something that's even deeper that I wasn't consciously aware of. Okay? And as a little bit of a fun to wrap this up, you can see in this picture that I wrote in a small comment there, you can even see someone waving to you from outside. So there's a little stick man, and if you really zoom in, you can see it's kind of like somebody is waving to you outside. And previously with the dirty window, you thought nobody's there. You have no idea of it. When you clear off a little bit, then these really cool and unique possibilities can come about. That's why I say in the front cover, increase your enjoyment, enhance your relationships, find more solutions and miracles in life. So perhaps we can find even these things that seem impossible or were not even part of our fathoming or of our perspective of possibility that was already taking place. For example, somebody was waving to us outside. So I really hope you enjoy the process. I hope you enjoy even the context to talk about this. It's to give us some awareness that fundamentally empowers more of us, the full picture of who we are, the quote-unquote superhero potential that we might have, and to increase our enjoyment in life.